Hey everyone. Sorry, I thought it said I was still muted. The live caught me off guard thinking I was muted. Oh my God. Welcome. Hi, we're a mess. And
It's our
wait, why
first
we getting me?
podcast.
Yeah, this is my first time ever doing this. So just buckle up.
Yeah.
You're along for the ride. Okay, completely kidding. I've done this at least once before, but hi, welcome to TJ Hates Quitters, where we are covering MTV's A Challenge, Ride or Dies. Over here on Silent Podcast, we are anything but silent. Kari, I am joined by Katie, who is far more put together than I am. Katie,
Not always, not usually.
I mean, today, take the cake. You can have it.
Thank you.
I'm just along for the ride at this point. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been, as you know, I've been I've been working out, going to Orange Theory, and I'm so sore. I went the last 2 days and I haven't gone in a few days before that, and I'm just like, I'm in pain. But I guess it's like, that's a good thing, right?
You're getting ready to go on the challenge.
I was just going to say something similar. Like, I wonder if this is how, like, people, I don't know what I was going to say. Forget it. I was going to say, like, should I start thinking about, like, oh, I'm on the challenge, I'm going to run a final to
I
motivate
mean,
myself?
we know, and I think one of our early bonding moments is how when we have to do
Yes.
mundane tasks, that we will
Yes.
pretend we are on the challenge so that we
Hmm.
don't quit halfway through.
I thought about it
And
yesterday when I was bringing groceries upstairs
exactly, oh
from
my
my
God,
car.
I was using Instacart a lot since the pandemic,
Hmm.
partially not really out of fear of COVID, all out of laziness. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to lie to people. And so I'm
As were
trying to
we
be
all,
better
by the
about
way. Like most of us were, and maybe still are using Instacart a lot.
it's so convenient. It's
Yeah.
so convenient. It's just that, like, I can save money by doing it myself. And so
Yes.
I'm really trying to be more fiscally responsible
Yeah.
this year. And so the dude who bagged my groceries, I really think that he was just trying me because it's like, how do I need like 9 bags for this? And
Yeah.
so naturally, I was like, stringing them up my
Yep.
arms because
Yep.
the thing is like you still have to unlock the front door, so you still need a
Yes.
hand accessible to open up the door with the
Yeah, it's a
key.
whole
And
maneuver.
yeah, it's like I just again was channeling my inner CT and was like, we gotta get through this, we can do this.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I'm in New York, and in New York we have a like an alleyway behind our apartment building. So we have parking back there, and then so we have to like walk up little steps, but the little steps are like tiny. They're like the most narrow little steps from the alley that you can possibly imagine. So it's like when I have 50 bags, I'm like shuffling sideways and like banging stuff up the wall, and then we have to unlock the door, and then we're on the second floor. So it's like then I'm like
Hmm.
trudging up the stairs. So I'm like, I could do this. I could
I
do a
can't wait
final, a very short
for
one.
season 39. One of the daily challenges
Yeah.
is just carrying groceries.
Yeah. Well, when they have the podcaster season, Carrie will be ready. Ride or Die
Oh,
Podcasters Edition will be ready to go.
I can't wait. Allie Cohen, no, Allie and Brian Cohen, Allie Lasher and
Yeah.
Brian Cohen, like, we're gonna fuck your shit up. I'm putting it out there right now. I don't give a fuck.
I am not as confident in myself, but we'll give them a run for their money, I guess.
I'm gonna start talking shit at them now. They don't even know why. They're gonna be like, "Who is this girl
They'd be like,
just
wait,
tweeting
what?
hostile things at me?" And it's like, "Oh, that's because I'm getting in your head pre-gaming. Now, I'm not gonna West pre-game where I'm gonna try and make alliances. I'm gonna try
You're
and piss
doing the
everybody
opposite.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to scare the
Not gonna
shit out
bode
of
well for
everybody.
us, Carrie. So start making enemies prior to. I want to
I'm
take
on
down
that
that
bestie
guy.
social game.
Bestie social game. I want to talk. I want to take down that guy who I don't know his name at all, but he's like the white dude that does YouTube interviews. I don't know his
Oh,
name, but I know he like gets interviews with like every challenger, and he's just like one dude. It looks like he's in a dorm room. That's the guy I'm coming for.
okay. Let's give me his Twitter and I'll fucking tweet at him too.
I have no idea what his name is. I'll find him. I'll find him.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, other podcasters, we're coming for your ass.
Yes, we are.
There are 6 people listening live, and I am so sorry that you've ended up here, but welcome. I guess we'll start talking about the challenge now.
Perfect.
Um, All right, so we have two episodes to talk about. We have missed, and I'm gonna spoil it right here, right now for you,
Yep.
which is we're gonna talk about the episode where Nelson is eliminated, and we are going to talk about the episode where Mariah is eliminated.
Yeah.
So just to give you a heads up on what's about to go down.
Yeah, I'm heartbroken about my Nelly T. Heartbroken. Everybody else says he's the heart of the team and the show, and like I completely agree. He's the heart. Our heart has been stabbed out, unfortunately. Just take a knife and stabbed us right in it.
I feel like in his last episode, he forgot the English language. There was so many words
Only
where
in the
I was
last episode?
no, but it was just like highlighted. Like he said, I think he said poverty, and
Yes, he
I'm
definitely did
like,
say that. He did say that
there was
100%.
something else where it's I don't know. The producers must just be like, yo, let this go. Don't let him redo it
No, it's his
because
charm. I
this
mean, it's his
is
charm. He's like known
it's
for.
his
I feel like
charm.
needy greedy is like the
Yeah.
biggest Nelsonism. It's amazing. I think he also one time said like kudos, or instead of kudos to you, he said to. I don't know. There was something like he said something that was like I think it was supposed to be like kudos, but he said like to do's to you or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't remember, but it was like it was just amazing. That's when I really knew like Nelson is the one for me on the challenge.
My
Current
favorite
day.
Nelson moment is yeah, like post Dr. Phil episode when
Oh
with
well.
Angela, or was that her name?
Yeah.
Um, but my favorite Nelson moment is from the finale of last season where they
Oh.
were
Did you show me the
like
video?
I think I
I think you sent me
recorded
the
it
video. Yes,
specifically
yes, yes,
to
you did.
want like I was recording my
Yes, you
TV,
were.
sending
Yes.
it to you because it was, and I remember like rewinding quite a few times him talking about shapes
Yeah.
and Casey, who is like no brain by any means, is like
No.
no Nelson, like this isn't work. It was just so good. Yeah, that is his charm. But I also
He's
think
just the
that's his
best.
downfall.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
like not that I think if we go back the episode before when Nerys is eliminated,
Mhm.
not that I think if like she wasn't eliminated that Nelson wouldn't have been eliminated this episode, but like um to not have the thought of keeping your ride or die safe, where I think like Bananas and Devin especially
Yeah.
are looking a few steps ahead and in keeping their ride or die safe, knowing
Yeah.
like something's got to be up with this. That Nelson could have easily been Nelson and gotten trivia questions wrong to help Nuri
Yeah.
stay, and just like there's other mental components that I think will. Oh, I just sorry Nelly T fans, I can't ever
Me.
see him
I'm the
winning.
spokesperson.
Yeah, for I'm speaking to Katie on
Mhm.
behalf of all of you.
Yeah.
I just
I
don't think he'll ever
represent.
win a final.
I don't think he will either,
I hurts.
personally. I don't think he will either. I think there's too many things. Well, I think if he ever was going to win a final, this would have been his season because he had an amazing partner in Nerys. Like, I think
Right.
she filled in all the ways where like maybe Nelson isn't the strongest, then she really complemented that. And it's a bummer that they went out back to back because I really think that they could have gone pretty far in a final or done pretty well if they made it there. And out of every team so far, I feel like they were probably the most deserving to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the fact that this is
And
Mariah's first elimination is kind of like why. Like, what have Fessy and Mariah really done? I mean, I know they won like one or two challenges, but like it
it's
doesn't feel like they've
because
contributed much to what's going on in the house. Where I feel like Nelson and Nerys really were like high contributors. High contributors? I don't know, whatever.
sure, it makes sense. At least I
Whatever.
get it.
Yeah.
I think part of it is Fessy doesn't have a great social game. However, he is insulated by Casey, who is insulated by Nani,
I'm
who is
tired of
insulated
this.
by Bananas, Tyen, Tori, and Anissa. That
I'm
like
tired.
Fessy benefits so much from his friendship with Casey. I wish Fessy would do something stupid and fuck Casey over because like Jordan
Shocked it
said in
hasn't
one of
happened
these.
yet.
I know. I mean, he kind of did when
I
he
mean,
just like
yeah.
sat there and pouted.
While she
And
kept
Casey was like,
eating.
"I have one knee," and which she called him out for in
She
this
did.
past episode.
You
Like,
know,
oh, an
Matt, my
eating
partner Matt, is on
competition.
Fessy's side with this. And I think it's maybe one of like our fundamental biggest differences in our relationship that he thinks Fessy should have stopped eating.
I mean, Matt, a broken clock.
I know. I know.
uh, so I disagree, but
Hard disagree.
that's also the closest he's ever come to fucking her over. And
Oh, he's listening.
for those of you who listening to the podcast, Matt's in the chat.
Yeah.
We're mad at you for defending Fessy. This is an anti-Fessy podcast.
Fessy
but-
should have kept eating. Put it on my gravestone.
Yeah, I think Casey would have tried to keep going.
She definitely would have tried to keep going. She was trying to keep going.
Was it ACL tear? Is that what happened?
I don't know. She had some kind of like gnarly surgery to fix it, whatever it was.
ACL, like you can technically still operate.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
you
So Matt says, dude, I hate him. But why would you eat all that gross shit if you're already out? But they weren't out. That's the point. They weren't out. Because you don't know what the next steps are going to be. He could have carried her. Like, come on. There's ways that they could have made it work. We've seen it before. Didn't West carry, what's her name? Back in the day, 100 years ago? Or am I thinking of something else?
Didn't West get carried by Kenny?
Oh, yeah. West didn't get carried by Kenny. Yeah. I mean, there's precedent.
Didn't, like, Laurel almost have to carry Zach?
Yes.
Because
yes.
he gassed out? Like, I don't know. Maybe the next thing would have been like a dog sled run. We don't know.
It could have been like
Fessy
rowing a boat or something where you don't need to use your leg. Like, well, I guess you do need to use your legs for that. But I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Regardless, I did think it was funny when Casey called him out in the confessional.
Same.
Being like, we know how Fessy does with this stuff, and they show him like crying as
See, that would be unforgivable to me. Like, there's no way I would partner in the sense of like be like, you had a chance to really have my back in a final and like you totally fucked me here by not eating. Like I was the one that was injured and I would have kept going. We could have at least tried to finish. They wouldn't have won, I get it, but like you never know.
Is it a hot take that I don't think a Casey Fessy team would win a final?
No,
I just don't think that there's enough brain cells there for like a puzzle.
No, it's like rubbing two sticks together.
Isn't that how fire starts? I'm just kidding. I don't watch Survivor anymore, so I don't know how it works.
That's what I was always told as a child, but apparently there's a lot of things that go into it.
There's more science to
Flint and, I don't know, husk and all this other crap.
It's fine. I don't even remember what I was saying. We were talking about Nelson and then, because we were saying that Fessy is like well insulated, but.
Yeah. I'm done with this vacation alliance. This is what they have been dubbed. And I think it's all of the people that you named. I'm just done with them. Mm-hmm. They're ruining the show.
Yeah. I think that there was an attempt with this to have to cause people to turn on each other. But in terms of the format of the show with like the daggers and everything, it hasn't worked out.
When there's so many of them and no one willing to like really take a big shot and make sure that all of them are vulnerable at the same time, it's like, what's the
right? There's
no purpose. And one of them, I guess not. I was gonna say one of them is typically winning, but really not really. Like we haven't seen Devin and Tori win. We haven't seen Fessy and Mariah have won, but like Nelson wasn't putting any of them in when he should have. He put in Nani. That's about it.
Right.
Nani and Bananas.
Yeah, I forget who did they play against or who did they send home. I was thinking about this. I'm like, I know Nani's been in elimination.
She has not been. She's pulled the safe dagger twice when they got put in. She and Bananas.
Never mind. Okay. My bad. Hand up. My bad.
Yeah. So this was her first actual elimination that she's had to go into.
Okay. Let's revisit Nelson's elimination episode. So the daily challenge for that was the one where Sorry, I'm laughing because
Oh,
I'm
is
imagining
this trivia? No,
Nelson
trivia was the one
swinging.
before.
Yeah, it was when they're on the helicopter and they have to hold on to the bar,
Oh,
and
yeah. And everybody
the
else is
first two
stick straight,
people.
and Nelson's like turning all over the place.
Nelson,
I
I
don't know
don't
what happened
understand
there.
how he did that. He
I
was
don't
like,
either.
classic Nelly T. I'm holding the bar wrong and I'm swinging around. So he's like bracing himself against Fessy, who's in front of him. Maybe I don't understand
Are
like
you
how you
supposed to
hold that
like
bar wrong.
go like
No,
one in and
everyone
one
I think
out?
was like this
Was
because
like
even
this?
Jordan, who had to like wrap his whole
Yeah,
arm
it was
because
like not
he was
twisting.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't imagine his whole like Nelson's whole bar was twisted once that
I don't
caused
even
him to
know
have
what
to
happened there.
untwist. I don't know. When I saw it, I was just like, this makes no sense. It was so
Yeah.
funny though. So in that challenge, you had six people who were hanging from these bars who were being flown on a helicopter, and then the first two people had to try and drop in a target zone. The next two people drop in a target zone that was smaller, and then the last two people drop in another target zone that is the smallest. Because one team had two extra people, they had to also have those two extra people swim from a certain distance. So once you dropped in the water, you had to swim to a platform. The team that completed this the quickest won.
Hmm. Thank God you remember that
Um,
because I was like, there was a challenge. I don't even remember what it was. You know,
I watched
I'm
everything
challenge blind.
last night. Yes, I watched everything last night. So some of the things
Oh,
are
right, right.
still,
You just got up.
yeah, I've been on a big reality TV podcasting responsibilities kick over the last like 24 hours. Started watching the second set of episodes of The Circle, but
Oh, wow.
I kind of like lost some interest in it. I'll go back to it. I was
Understandable.
probably just tired. But anyway, so the team with six people only had to have the people hanging, drop, and swim. And they didn't show us the time on the TV. We were just left to MTV's judgment.
Yep.
And when the team of eight goes first, so that's Fessy's team, they complete it. They had Olivia and Anissa just swim off the platforms because they're not strong swimmers. They had Tori and Casey swim from the farthest one out. They're not that strong of swimmers, but they complete it.
Yeah.
And nothing really to report there. But the other team decides that they are going to have Horacio and Jordan not only be the last two to drop, but also swim back and get their girls and help them swim faster and
Yeah.
hopefully complete this faster because teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes. Do you think that, I mean, TJ was very much like, oh, the teamwork, you going back to get the girls, like, helped you. And they won what, with like 2 seconds or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was really, what's the difference? I guess, like, mentally, I'm not understanding the difference between, like, if Horacio and Jordan jumped first, wouldn't they be able to just swim faster? Well, I guess they wouldn't be able to, like, meet them up at the front.
Maybe it's just having them pushing you when
I
it's
don't know.
like
It just seems
an
like you're losing
external
time
motivation.
by them like jumping in and then having to turn around and then come back, where like they could have started in the back and then just swam really fast to get there and like push the girls. But who knows?
I think
Whatever.
they were afraid of because the second team had to hit all of their targets.
Right.
If
Oh,
they
yeah.
even missed
Okay.
a single target, and that last target is relatively small, so I
Mm,
wonder. And the other part is like your grip strength, which we
true.
saw play a part in the next episode of I think having the women having to hang on for less time
Yeah.
and having the stronger people hang on for longer also played a part. So I guess it's like, do you trust in this case, Amber and Nani to hang on to the end
Yeah.
and fall into the target? Or do you trust Jordan and Horacio and
Right.
then hope that the
That
swimming
makes
component
sense.
works? Because like Fessy kind of dragged Olivia along a little bit, and I don't know if, like, I don't remember specifically seeing any of the men like physically pulling the women along, but I'm sure if you
Yeah.
have like Jordan and Horacio in your ear being like, come on, let's go, you're almost there, blah, 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 versus having to do it on your own,
Yep.
maybe makes a difference.
Who out of every man on this season would you want as your partner? if you were on this show.
Woo!
This season specifically, not of like all time, but this season.
Yeah, because obviously the answer is CT if it's all time. No questions
Oh, I
asked.
don't think I would want to. I think Darrell would be my all-time partner.
Oh, I mean that's I think Darrell if it's like current is it like current day or people in their prime?
No, like if when we go on the podcast Ride or Die season and then we get split
Uh-huh.
up and we get partnered
Okay.
with some man that's been on the show before. I
Then
think
I
if
would still
I would want Darrell, I think.
I think Darrell is a great teammate. I think
Yeah.
Darrell has lost a step as he's aged. That's why I asked if it was in the prime, because if it was in like not only their body prime, but the attitude they had during that body prime, I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't pick CT.
Well, yeah,
Um,
I think even currency, well, not current, but remember when he was partnered with Veronica and he was like he was even rude to Big T.
that was in
That's why
like
I'm like, I don't
dirty.
want,
That
was it Dirty 30?
the
It feels like it
yeah, I
was
think it was
a year
dirty.
ago, but it was like 10 years ago,
It was
probably.
probably like well, we're at what 38, and if they do like
Yeah.
2 seasons a year, so
Yeah.
maybe like
For,
4 to 5 years ago. Um, yeah, I think he was like supportive of Big T, but then he hurt Big T's feelings by how excited he was to leave her.
yeah, like that was
And
such a
then like
dick
when
move.
it was the way he did it. I mean, I don't agree with how he did it. I agree with what he did. But
Yeah.
I think if it's like current day, I think I would still take CT. Um, I would maybe even consider, I think my top three overall would be CT, Wes. I would probably go Jordan after that.
Well, that was going to be my question. I think Jordan would be my number two. Definitely my top for this season. If I had to pick someone to be my partner,
Mm-hmm.
it would be Jordan.
I think Jordan would be my number one from this
Yeah.
season. Honestly, Devin would potentially be up there for
Oh,
me.
you couldn't pay
I
me.
don't know. I wanted to ask you about this because while I definitely don't agree with him helping Fessy, which we can have a conversation about,
Yes.
outside of that, like, he's the morale of his team. Like, Jordan is the lead by example, but like what are we? We're fucking dogs. And like,
Yeah.
even him and Jordan. And I I do think he's like genuinely trying, but I also think that Devin and my strengths would overlap too much
Mm.
because like I think I would be decent at puzzles and I'm also a sarcastic asshole. So like I don't know if we can have all of that all together in one
Yeah.
place where I think I would probably benefit more from a Jordan.
I think Devin would do well and is doing well with a partner that he's friends with. But like put him with someone who either he like doesn't know well or doesn't really get along with or maybe isn't performing well. I don't think that he is a great. Plus he like and that's why I wouldn't also say Wes, even though I really like Wes. I wouldn't want Wes as a partner because he just like stirs shit and I wouldn't want to be associated with that. Where Jordan, I feel like Jordan might be tied with Darrell like as number one because I feel like Jordan motivates people in the way that I would want to be motivated. And same with Darrell. Like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's not like finger pointing blame, not an asshole to your partner. Like you're just trying to like move them along
Yeah.
and be motivating and like be a good partner. And that I appreciate. Cause like I wouldn't want someone being like, what the fuck? Let's fucking run. Like that doesn't motivate me. I'd be like, fuck you, do it
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
But if someone's like, we got
I
this, like, let's
think
go, you're doing great. I'm like, okay. Okay. Like someone I want to work for and like succeed for instead of someone like berating you.
I think if you had seen Devin's performance in the
Mm.
final leg of the final last season,
Yeah, it's a
he
blind
was
spot for me.
paired with Emmy, and um, they were like distinctly in third place,
Yeah.
distinctly because they were going against Kyle and Tori, which like Kyle is so deceptively good at this shit.
Yeah, Kyle is he's decent. I'm just making a face because like that's a weird pair.
Well, the way that it happened was Casey and Nani had to go against each other.
Hmm.
I think I explained this to you in that like back to back thing where you push
Yeah.
someone over. And then Kyle and Nelson had to go against each other.
And Kyle won
Was it
that?
Nelson? Somehow.
Wow.
Was it Nelson? I might be, don't quote me. Kyle beat someone. I think it was Nelson. Yeah, because Nelson was doing the fucking shapes and then he wasn't in the finals, the final part of the final. So it was definitely Nelson. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Kyle is deceptively like
Yeah.
good at this shit. They only lost to CT and Casey by like legit 2 seconds
Oh,
at
wow.
most.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
because
crazy.
they had to like run up to the top of this like mountain, memorize 20 digits, come back, enter those digits in the code, and the code opened a lock, and that's how you won, right?
Yeah.
Devin, who is with Emmy, and just the two of them are distinctly in third place. He was like so positive with her, and
Yeah.
just like he could have he could have gone into like old Devin ways.
Yeah.
And so I do think he is really trying to be good at the challenge, which I think, especially over the last however many seasons, means you can't just be good yourself. You have to be a good partner, and so I'm going to give Devin his credit. But
Okay.
again, I don't think that I think we would be too much of the same. I would
Yeah.
just want Jordan because he's a proven winner out of who's there. I mean,
And I
Bananas
think
is
the way he
too,
handles Anissa is, yeah, but like Bananas is past his prime, I'm sorry to say. But
right?
I feel like Jordan, the way he's working with Anissa, like there's so many ways, like so many times that Anissa should have been running and like was just walking, like, and he didn't freak out on her. Like that's why I'm like, okay, I would want Jordan as my partner. Not that I would even do that, but like, I mean, I would do that because I'm not an athlete.
Do you think that Bananas is purposefully trying to hold back? I don't think that Bananas is like, I think Bananas is purposefully not performing to his best. And I think it's to make Fessy seem like more of the target when you want to take a shot.
Here's the thing with my opinion on Bananas, and it maybe is an unpopular opinion, but I think Bananas is probably the most overrated challenger. Like, I think obviously he is the winningest, like, he won the most finals,
Mm-hmm.
but I think a lot of it, well, first of all, a lot of those finals were like the older finals, which doesn't
That's what I
necessarily
was
take
just about to
away,
look up.
but I
Yeah.
do think he's had good partners in the finals that he's won with. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I think that one where he won with Jenny was like rigged for him to win because originally there was,
Yeah.
from what I've heard, only supposed to be one winner and it was Jenny. And then when it wasn't him, they just said, okay, now you're the male winner and they had to split the money. So I think
Mm.
there's just been a lot of circumstances where Bananas has been put in a position to succeed. And I think he's good at social game politics and alliances. So I think that has helped
Mm-hmm.
him a lot. But like, challenge performance wise, elimination performance wise, I think he's better than average, but he's not the best of all time.
Yeah.
Like put him up against Jordan, CT, and himself in a final. Like I think Bananas comes in third.
Yeah, I think so too. I was trying to see if like his wiki had the setup of how the finals were, but there's a lot of info. He has a long wiki. He's been around a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
I did just find out that him and I have the same birthday,
Oh.
except um 6 years apart. So
Hmm. You can celebrate
I learned
together.
something new today. Yeah, yeehaw. Me and Bananas made quite the party.
Yeah.
Okay, where
I don't know.
I feel like we've
We're
been
off. We're
derailing
definitely
in
off
great
topic.
ways.
Yeah.
No, 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 we're in good ways. Do you believe that they only won by 2 seconds or lost by 2 seconds, however you want to frame it?
I don't know. The challenge has funny math. Their clocks work differently than my clocks, so I don't know. Maybe.
Clocks work differently. Yeah, I think it's I don't know. I liked the second episode of the two we're talking about that they showed the time on the
Me
screen
too.
throughout everything.
Me too. I was happy
It's
about
just like,
that.
oh, this seems a little bit more valid. Like, given they could have fucked with that then too, we wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Um, but it gave it a bit of legitimacy. So
Hmm.
even if the crew gave them their win, I'm glad that it happened
Yeah.
because we don't need to see Fessy's team just like steamroll through things.
No. Agreed.
So before the elimination, you have the interrogation. All four men are up to be interrogated, which is Chauncey, Fessy, Bananas, and
Nelson.
Horacio. Nelson. Just kidding. You're dumb, Kari. I'm thinking of I don't know what I was thinking of. Nelson, because Nelson went in and got eliminated, you doofus. So, those four. And it seems like Mariah's team is pretty set on keeping Chauncey safe because they see him as like the weakest guy.
Yeah. I don't,
Makes sense.
I guess I agree out of the guys that are there, but I don't see Chauncey as like a weak challenger necessarily. I think maybe he's just inexperienced, but I think he's performed fine. Like there's nothing wrong with anything that Chauncey's done, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Chauncey's worst performance was that puzzle that him and Amber did end up finishing before Darrell and Veronica.
Yeah, that was a
But
travesty on all sides.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like everyone there sucked at it.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think that Chauncey is bad by any means. He's just like you said, inexperienced.
Yeah.
So it comes down to, do they want Bananas, Fessy, or Nelson to be the direct vote?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and interrogation happens. I don't think anything really ever gets said in these. That's like,
No.
and not ever, but no one yet has come in and be like, put this motherfucker in, and this is why.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of holding cards close to their chest. But the interesting thing to me is apparently 2 hours before elimination, Jordan and Fessy are just like out in the yard, and Jordan's like, I'm not saying your name.
Mm-hmm.
I like, we'll play nice. I'm not saying your name. But then Jordan, an hour later, is on the bike, and Tori comes up to him and says something along the lines of like, listen, how you vote will have a direct impact on our relationship. And
Like outside of this game.
yeah, outside the game, like vote the way that I want you to. And Jordan said that they have an agreement to like separate church and state as much as possible. Like,
that makes sense. I think that was a very poor decision on Tori's part. And this is exactly why I fucking hate Tori, by the way. Things like this, I just cannot stand Tori. This is like a Cara Maria move, and these are exactly the reasons why I don't like Cara Maria. And it's just like, there's more to life than this stupid TV show. Maybe like get a job. I don't know. I can't. Drives me crazy.
Yeah, I didn't like that, and it definitely made me take Jordan's side. And
1,000%,
like,
I was on Jordan's side.
I get that Tori's in a rough spot with how this season has played out for her as a person, not like as a challenger, but to have your ex come in unknowingly and then to see your ex like canoodling with someone else, and after you guys have been like, I don't know if they had sex or not in the house, but they at least were like laying naked together. I'm assuming things happen, but whatever. So then like that's not easy to deal with. I don't wish that upon, there's probably a couple of people I would wish that upon, but I don't wish that upon most.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's tough. That's tough.
But then, like, how she's handled these last few weeks where she's definitely crossing lines, and it's just very hard to feel bad for her.
Yeah, it's like there's a way to approach it. Like maybe when he's not on an exercise bike, first of all, like wait until he's like not doing anything and just be like, hey, can we have like a quick chat? So that's step one. And then just say like, hey, listen, like obviously it's completely up to you, but last week, like we didn't put you in, and I had to like put in a lot of work for that to happen. So if you could not put Fessy in, like that would be really helpful for me. Like leave it, leave it to the draw. But like whatever, I don't know. But to say like to have a threat like that of like if you do this, like it's gonna affect our real life relationship. Like fuck you. Okay, good. Let it then. You want to play that way? Then let's play that way. And then he called her bluff. I guess is calling your bluff the right term there? Whatever. He like one-upped her, I guess.
He did it, and he's like, okay, I'll fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Like
play stupid games, win stupid prizes, Tori, and you fucking did. And then for her to be like, this is not my fault. I'm like, actually, it's 1,000% your fault because Jordan and Fessy had an agreement to not put each other in, and you came in and you fucked it all up. So it's actually 1,000% your fault.
Yeah, just like why do you think that you're able to, of all people, tell Jordan what
Right.
he should do?
And she should know that he's not going to take that well. They were engaged to be married.
Yes.
You should know your former
Apparently,
partner, life partner, enough to know that that's not going to fly.
Nelson said, I guess Nelson did like an Instagram live of
Hmm.
maybe after that episode, or maybe it was even during it. I don't know. And he said that like up until that point, like Jordan was very much saying to people, like, I'm trying my best to help Tori get this win.
Yeah, I
So,
heard that, or I read that on Reddit or something like that.
yeah. And so I guess like Tori pushed him too far.
Hmm. Well, it's like if you're already going out of your way to try and help her, and then she comes in with
Mm-hmm.
that,
Yeah.
like trying to strong arm you, like, sorry, it's done.
Yeah.
I'm 1,000% on Jordan's side of this.
All right. I'm going to make a confession here. And if this makes me a bad person, please
Okay,
know that this is just, it was a reaction.
I'm ready.
But I laughed a lot when Jordan was like, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
No, I laugh too. Are we not supposed to laugh?
I don't know because I feel like sometimes people take the word terrorist as like if calling someone that is like can be
Yeah, I guess
offensive.
so.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
I mean,
I'm
it's
not
not nice, that's for sure.
no I also feel like isn't that like a direct quote from the TV show 24? Like the way it
I
was
don't
said
know.
as
Yeah,
well.
I don't know.
Uh we had a dog named Bauer after Jack Bauer. We were big
Oh.
24 fans in the Dahlia household. Um but when he said that, I thought it was hilarious. Like
Yeah, no, I thought it was funny too. I apologize with your apology that if that makes me a bad person, I'm sorry. But like it
yeah,
was good TV. So finally something happened
absolutely.
on this show that was interesting.
Yeah. Tori's trying to do too much, and I'm glad that Jordan, in his own way, showed her like your lane is already pretty big. Like, please stay in it.
She's just a spoiled brat. And the way that she responded, I mean, I guess I would be annoyed if someone called me a terrorist, probably. But I think that but just to not like be like, oh yeah, I fucked up there, but just sit there and scream and like stomp your feet like a little baby and be like, this
Mm-hmm.
isn't my fault. She's just a brat, and I'm just tired of Tori. I'm tired of Tori.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she needs a season off.
Yeah, give her the Cara Maria treatment, please. They won't. She's like the face of the
Yeah,
show
she.
now for some reason.
I mean, Cara Maria isn't here because of Polly, so she
I
would
think it
need.
started there, but I think Cara Maria's actions on social media don't really
Oh
help
yeah, yeah, yeah,
her case
yeah.
to come back.
Yeah, I think it. You're absolutely correct. I agree with that. So we have the vote, and there's six of them. We get a Survivor Classic 3-2-1 in this instance.
Hmm.
Three votes go on Fessy, two votes go on Nelson, and then the last vote is Mariah's. So
Hmm.
Mariah could tie up the vote, so it's three for Nelson, three for Fessy, and then they could see what happens. Or she could burn a vote, and it's
Hmm.
definitely Fessy going in, her ride or die. She said multiple times, both in this episode and the next episode, like,
Hmm.
I don't want to fuck someone over on my team. Do you think that they knew that if there is a tie, then like one of the guys from her team has to go down there? Or is it like, we don't want to find out? I'm not going to be the person that causes like Jordan to have to find out.
It seems like either way, it seems like there would have been more people on her team being like, yeah, of course she had to burn that vote because we don't want this to happen. She's not going to say Fessy's name if they knew about it. But then also, like, I don't know. It's weird because she kept saying that. And I'm like, well, that's not necessarily what's going to happen. Like, we don't
Yeah, we just,
know. We haven't seen a time. We don't know if that's what's going to happen. So I
last,
don't
I
know.
feel like
But it
the
didn't
last
seem
time
like
we
anybody
saw a
like backed her
tie,
up on that either. Of
no.
like, no, yeah, she had to do that. Otherwise, one of us would have gone in. Like, it doesn't, I don't know. It could be either way. I mean, it just seems like a weird assumption to make.
Yeah, the
I would
way
have
she
rather
kept
her said
talking
like we
about it.
can't tie because like we don't know what's going to happen in a tie. Like I'm not risking that. Instead of being like one of my guys
Mhm.
is going to go in. Like how do you know that?
Well, that's why I'm wondering, like, does she know? And they
Yeah, I
just
don't
didn't
know.
tell us
Maybe.
because they want it to be like a surprise for us of like, oh
Maybe.
shit, like I don't think any of us were expecting when Amanda and Zach couldn't decide
Well, that was
on
incredible.
a vote together
All-time
that like,
challenge
okay,
moment.
you have to go down in your fucking street clothes and do this elimination.
But that was a way
So
more drawn out situation than just like Mariah being like, well, if we tie, one of my guys is going to go in. It's like you could maybe tie and then do like a revote to see if anybody changes their vote or something, Like it feels like there could have been something aside from like immediately sending in someone from their team.
I wonder. I could also
Yeah, I
see
don't know.
like Bananas telling her ahead of
Right.
time, hey, the last time I saw a tie, Amanda had to go in and do this
Hmm.
challenge in her jeans. Like, you don't
Yeah.
know what could happen. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to cause a tie. So, I do think it's interesting that it just kind of went that way. Although, classic challenge shit, we don't know the rules. I would love if we knew what
Exactly.
the rules were. But it
What
did
do
lead to
you
Fessy being voted in, so I am a fan of
Yeah.
that.
No, me too. I'm always a fan of that. Always. I was gonna ask you a question about bananas and Mariah, but I'll save it for later because we'll talk more about Mariah later, so it's fine.
Okay. Um, so Fessy ends up being voted in the 3-2-1, and then for the dagger pull, Chauncey had said, I'm likely going to save Bananas. It was kind of implied that Bananas would save Chauncey, but it was never confirmed.
Well, I think they
So,
made that deal in the event that Nelson and Fessy were down there together
yeah.
or something. They would have saved each other, so they were like, "Well, we have to team up because those two are basically a team. So like we have to keep each other safe because they're clearly keeping each other safe."
Yeah. And Bananas would have had reasoning to throw Nelson in since
Yeah,
like
because he put
he
him in the
called them
elimination.
anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah. But Chauncey ends up pulling the safe dagger, saves Bananas, it puts Nelson in. And
which like, okay, just a bad game decision from Chauncey, in my opinion. Either way, you get rid of bananas on your team, and that gives you a better chance in the final.
yeah, I guess.
I
Or
would
do they
rather run a
see?
final against Nelson than Bananas. Bananas has so much experience. I know I just said that he's like
Yeah,
mediocre challenge, but or above average, but not the best. But like he's still, and his partner is Nani. Like they both have so much experience. Like weaken them.
I think part of it is, and this became more evident to me in the next episode, is I really think that Amber is trying to get back in with that Big Brother
Yes, it
alliance
really seems that way.
based off of social media stuff. And then with Fessy's vote being like trying to build trust with Amber and didn't vote for Amber when he could have. Um, and I almost expected him to, I
Yeah,
guess,
me too.
that I'm wondering if that also played into it and putting like their good or like being in their good graces.
Yeah,
And in the moment, I was like, oh, I don't really get it. But the next episode kind of helped me think of that.
yeah.
So the elimination, I'm not gonna lie, I was like 50% paying attention to this.
They just had to like
So
pull a thing through with a wall,
yeah, it was like
a
a
bunch of things
spike.
through a wall. Yeah,
Yeah, that there's like drywall and there was like nine of them. I don't remember. And the first person to get all of theirs out and won.
Fessy basically could have done this with one hand and beat Nelson. Even though Nelson is very muscular, I just feel like Fessy is just a bulkier dude.
Yeah. I think it's also helps that Fessy's taller, so you have
Yeah.
probably like more
This,
leverage
yeah, a better center of
versus like
gravity.
I don't know if the better center of gravity. I
I
feel
don't
like
really
short
know what
people have
center of
better
gravity
center of
means, to be honest with you.
gravity because like that's your. Well, I just think it's like so Nelson because they were saying
His
like to
arms would
move
have to
it
be
up
up
and
here, but
down.
Fessy's arms could be like down and have better.
Right. So
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
moving
Leverage
it
is a
up
better
and
word.
down, like he had a wider range of
Yeah.
motion than I would say that Nelson did. So I mean, I think I can't remember which woman said it in the next episode, but I don't think anybody is beating Fessy in that elimination.
No, and that's why I'm like, well, just get rid of Bananas because I don't think Bananas would have won
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I agree. True. And I wonder if no, I think they just wanted to put Fessy in. I don't think they wanted to like let's take the shot. And Jordan had the point of like if you keep going into eliminations, you're eventually going to lose one,
Yeah,
unless you're Horacio,
yeah,
who doesn't.
yeah, exactly.
But Fessy won that. Nelly T's out, and then do they show this? I'm sure they showed it in the regular episode because you know how I watch on MTV app or whatever
Yeah,
that they show like the extended one. Did they show
Nelson and Nerys.
Nelson and
Yeah,
Nerys?
yeah.
Got it.
That was such
Yeah,
a
I felt
bummer
bad.
because like Nerys leaving was a blow. I felt like Nerys was like the one
Hmm.
of the standout people on this season, one of the standout challengers. And I was really excited about it, like the potential for her to be able to come back because Nelson was still in the game. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, Nelson went out. They went out back to back, which was that's rough.
Yeah.
But don't worry, Kenny's still waiting to come back. So we'll get Kenny. It's all good. Kenny will
So
come back eventually, I'm sure. Unless Casey seems to leave at some point, which I doubt is happening.
I would love for that to happen though.
Me too. But it seems like everybody's keeping Casey in their pocket.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy how many people are like, "Oh, I won't vote for her." And by her, it's either like Nani or Casey
Yep.
because of like they are so well connected.
It's so annoying.
Hmm. Yeah. But that's the end of our Nelson elimination episode.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll see you again, Nelson.
So long, Nelly T. I knew as soon as they showed Corey in the beginning of the episode that Nelson was going home. I was like, oh, he's
Corey.
getting a phone call and he's talking to Corey. He's going home.
His daughter just had open heart surgery.
I know. His daughter it seems like is having a lot of health issues, which is really sad.
Corey, get vaccinated so you don't give her COVID.
I heard that he's like on some other show or something. I don't know. I was reading something about Corey and he's doing something for, or he was going to be on Traders US.
Yeah. He
And
tweeted
I
that they.
find it really hard to believe that he would not have to be vaccinated for that.
Mhm.
So maybe he's changed his stance, but, and he's also been
Maybe.
doing boxing, which maybe they don't require you to be vaccinated for that. I don't know. Who knows what like shady, weird celebrity league, but like,
Yeah.
he's been doing some stuff, which would lead me to believe he got vaccinated, but I don't know.
Guess we'll have to see if he ends up being back on the show. In the next episode, it starts off with like Bananas just stirring the pot against Mariah, which is kind of crazy since those two are together. Like, Fessy, I can't believe that she didn't even like try to tie the vote up for you. She's
Bananas is
basically
gonna
the deciding
banana.
vote and put you in. Yeah. And that also is another reason why I'm confused, like what the rules were, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's why it feels like people would have had her back if they knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that fight sequence was pretty funny of just like everybody just like watching them go back and forth arguing with each other.
Yeah. Fessy, it's just, I mean,
Them and Jordan and Tori, right? They were also fighting.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I just have such a hard time with Fessy when he like expects so much out of his partner but doesn't
When
come
he's the
close
literally worst
to
partner.
giving
Yeah.
the same. Yeah. At the beginning of I think it was the beginning of Nelson's episode that or elimination episode where he said something along the lines of like, so you're gonna throw the challenge for me when it's like a guy's elimination or whatever, and she was like, well, you didn't do that for me, and he's like, you didn't ask. Okay, Fessy, if you're the
He's such
experienced
trash.
one of
He
you
is such
two, like
trash.
you come and talk to her about it.
Right. Trash. He's trash.
Yeah, just annoys me. My
Awful.
Fessy tweets that like get so much traction. I'm on private and I'm still getting like many likes on my Fessy tweets.
Yeah. He's horrible.
Hmm. But so they're fighting, and you have Jordan and Tori fighting, and it's just, you know, the drama.
Which finally we get a little bit of drama. I love the drama on the challenge. So give us
Hmm.
something. This season's been very bleh.
Yeah.
It's been fine, but it's been bleh at the same time. Not
Yeah, I
really
don't
that
hate
much
it. But
interesting stuff happening.
there's so many people who are like best friends in real life that,
You know, it just makes it hard.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't think there's really like much to report on that. Not like anything got solved with Jordan and Tori.
No.
So we'll just keep going. We get to the daily challenge, which I liked this daily challenge. Did you like
Yeah, this was a
the?
good one. I like this one.
So to explain it, there was this like podium that had four pictures on it, and as a picture was revealed, it represented something about that challenge that was going to happen. And depending on the challenge, you either had one or two players compete in it. So you didn't know what it was. You just had to like kind of guess based off of what the picture was. So the first one was a target, and Jordan goes for his team because he's like, I'm always accurate. And Fessy goes for his team. And it's because Jordan is going. So Fessy and Jordan. I think it was Amber who's like, ego, 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 ego.
Yeah. It's a weird kind of relationship, right? Because we know what happened with Tori and Fessy right as Jordan and her were breaking up, right after. Like the timeline is a little blurry. So it's
Jordan
weird
says
that
that
they
Tori
like
didn't cheat on him. Jordan, like,
yeah, I know that's like the story, and I'm not saying she did, but it still feels like publicly we all still thought they were together, and then it's like as
yeah.
soon as they broke up, they were like she was with Fessy, and it just feels like it's a
Mm-hmm.
weird relationship dynamic with Fessy and Jordan, where I would expect there to be a little more
Mm-hmm.
tension, but apparently there's not.
Yeah, I mean, she like hooked up with him. I feel like to me, Jordan doesn't strike me as someone who's gonna keep a list of all the people his ex fiance is hooked up with to like then smite them, you know?
Yeah, I think it's more the timing
Yeah.
for me because wasn't there like a they were on a break or they broke up but they were maybe going to get back together. I don't know, it just seemed like that the Fessy stuff played in a lot into like the end of their relationship, whereas like whoever she was hooking up last season, whichever
I
dude, I
mean,
don't know. Yeah, I don't think Jordan would care at all about that.
no. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, they seem to be getting along, and up until Jordan voted for Fessy, like have a mutual respect for each
Hmm.
other. So their competition was there was this like panel of diamonds that was set up what seemed to be a long distance away. I will not ask
Very,
you
it
the
seemed
distance
very
because I
long.
know you and
700
distances
feet, no, I'm just kidding.
aren't the best of
It was
friends.
definitely not, no.
But however far away this distance was, there was a slingshot, and you had to break three panels first to beat the other
Very
team. But
Survivor challenge.
yeah, yeah, except for everyone you missed, you had to drink some sort of gross smoothie concoction.
Yeah.
And they both struggled with this for a long time
In
until
different ways.
Devin, yeah, in very different ways. Like, I'm not even gonna talk, I hate the throwing up stuff. Like,
Me too. But it felt like Jordan was just like taking those things back. Like he not, but
yeah,
Fessy was clearly struggling, as we know this is not his strong suit. It
right.
wouldn't be mine either. Like no shade to Fessy, I would not. There's no way.
I don't, I don't know how I would do in a gross eating challenge.
No chance.
I just like actively avoid eating things I don't like that I don't have any much experience with it. And I'm also not like really a picky eater. I don't know if I'd be able to. I'm not going to try and figure out,
I would
but
not be. I know myself. I would not be able to put a plate of bugs in front of me. I'm like, I quit. There's not. I wouldn't even try. TJ would hate me. I would be
so
Jenna's partner from Exes, Jay,
yes.
crying about drinking
Yes.
the thing. That would be me. I
Yes.
would get humiliated.
I wonder what the strategy is for that. Like, do you just hold your nose and hope for the best?
The drinking, I think I would be better at than having to choose something.
I actually think I would be the opposite.
Oh, give me like cow brain and like ball sacks and bugs and shit. No, no, no. and I have to chew. I could like gag just thinking about it. But like a drink, just like open your throat, hold your nose, and just like gulp it down as fast as you possibly can. It's like, okay, at least like I don't have to chew it. Imagine
Yeah, see,
chewing
like
like the rubbery looking. Oh no 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 no.
I'm not. I don't do shots. I'm not a chugger. So I feel like I would struggle more with the liquids than I would where like I don't know. I feel like I could eat almost anything. Like texture doesn't freak me out.
Oh no, I couldn't.
The only things I really don't eat are toast or anything that comes out of a toaster. That's it.
Okay.
It tastes disgusting. I don't know what to
Even
say
with butter
besides.
on it,
With
or like
I don't
any condiment.
know. It trust me, I've tried. I've not
You
liked
don't eat an
toast since
English
I was
muffin?
a child. No. I'll use English
No,
muffins
I
to make
fucking
like
love
air
English
fryer
muffins.
pizzas,
Love
but
English muffins.
it's I won't toast a bagel. I don't make like frozen like Eggo waffles because they have to come out of a toaster. Just
Hmm.
anything that comes out of a toaster, I think tastes disgusting.
Okay.
And
Toaster
it
oven
wasn't like
as
I had
well.
there. I
Okay.
can. I don't
I
tend
use a
to like.
toaster oven. I don't use a toaster that you push in and
Yeah,
pops up.
my roommate is a big toaster oven guy, and it's one of those types of things where like if I had to, I will. I won't
Mm.
complain about it, but I'm never actively choosing to.
Okay.
It's so like I can do some paninis, but it's like burnt bread. It will
I
the
love burnt bread.
taste and the smell. I swear that like my roommate in Boston, we didn't really like each other. She used to burn her toast on purpose. She tried to convince me that I was allergic to the smell of burnt toast because it would just like make me feel like I was nauseous. Yeah, she's a dumb bitch.
Okay,
If
I
you're
don't think that
listening to this,
that's possible.
her name was also Katie.
Mm.
But so sometimes when I go to text you because I have you with like microphone emojis next to it,
Oh,
and I have
cute.
Katie. She liked anchors and like summer shit, and so I had hers with
Oh,
anchors
just
next
put
to it.
like
So
bread
sometimes
next to her.
I, yeah, I need to fix that. I'll get there at some point, but um, anyway, yeah, I think that like I would do better at eating than drinking. I
I
don't know,
know I would.
but
That would be like my downfall, which is why. Oh well, Carrie, if we go on and we're podcast ride or dies, you could chew and I will drink.
okay, perfect.
Perfect.
Teamwork again always makes
Yeah,
the dream work.
perfect.
Speaking of teamwork, Devin steps in this instance and is like, "Buddy, you need a spotter," and
Yeah.
he lines up Jordan apparently perfectly and tells him to like move the slingshot down, pull back a little further, blah blah.
Yeah, this was
And
really impressive because it didn't seem like
yeah,
he had a great angle.
yeah, Devin stepped in and helped out. And so Jordan finishes. Fessy is still going, still going, still going. Finally, people are like, help Fessy. And so what we see is Tori saying, help Fessy. And then I think there's at least one other person. I can't remember who it is on, like, who it was, what team it was. But Devin's like, no, 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 no. Okay, fine, I will. He
Yeah, this
helps
was a huge
Fessy.
mistake.
And so in the moment, it's like we built up such a big lead, it shouldn't be a big issue. This
Sure.
ends up being a mistake, as Katie
Have
said.
you
But
all have you all played the challenge before?
right.
Chauncey
Also, just
hasn't
like
and
for
Mariah hasn't. Everybody else has. So what are you guys doing?
just to like let Bessie sit there and think about everything he's done, I think is worth it
Yeah.
alone. But
Yeah.
it's what you get for being like, oh, let me go against Jordan. But also, like, why wasn't anybody on their team trying to help line up
Right. Why is
Bessie?
Devin the one why can't Bananas use his fucking eyes and be a spotter? Why does Devin from the other team need to step in? It's so stupid.
So Devin tweeted about this. I don't know if you saw it,
I
but
did
he
not.
basically said he asked everyone on his team if he should help Fessy, and everybody except Horacio said to help Fessy.
Well, Horacio's the only one with a brain. Oh, Horacio is also a rookie. Horacio's the only one with the brain because everybody who has been on the show, watched the show, seen a final, should know that just because you're ahead to start does not mean that you will always be ahead. Like there are things that will act as equalizers. Not everything is going to be such a landslide of a win for you. So this is, he would have timed out eventually. It's not like he would have like died there if he couldn't figure it out. Like he would have timed out. I'm sure they would have called it.
And then the other thing he tweeted about it is if there's any decisions you don't understand, something along the lines of like, don't forget that this is a ride or die season. So he also implied that
Because Tori was up for elimination potentially.
right, yes.
Well, this is an overarching
he said
question I
that
wanted
was
to ask you about is do you think these people should have thrown the challenge? Because this was like a whole thing of like, oh, Chauncey didn't want Amber to go in, so he didn't want to win, and Bananas didn't want Nani to go in, and who's Casey's part? Oh, there's no ride or die for Casey. But it's like,
no, but Casey doesn't want Nani to go in.
Yeah, but it's like, do we feel like everybody should have just been throwing this challenge to the other team then, if this is the case?
Well, I guess you could say that about like almost all the challenges at this point because
Yeah, I guess. It just feels like this episode was specifically, well, I guess because Amber and Chauncey are dating and Nani and Casey are dating.
Yeah.
But then there's also the Devin and Tori of it.
Right. I feel like if you have foresight that throwing these isn't the worst idea because there's no repercussions, you know what I mean? Like,
well, there's also no repercussions unless what happens to Nerys and Nellie T happens where one goes out right after the other. But you should know in a ride or die season, if you watched Bloodlines, they split up and then they all came back together at the end and ran the final together. So it's like you have to know they're going to come back together at some point.
Which is another reason why I think Bananas, especially, because he was on that season with what's his fucking face.
Yeah, his loser cousin.
Yeah, that I think that that's a reason why Bananas operates one way on guys' days, another way on girls' days. So, no, I don't know if there's like an advantage to winning any of these team ones. Like, yeah, your team stays stronger, and you're likely, but like if you win, you stay. However, by losing, you potentially lose your ride or die. Like, you don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, I guess on the opposite genders elimination day, it's beneficial. Like on a men's elimination day, it's beneficial for the women to throw the challenge and vice versa to keep their ride or die safe. Because then who cares if you're weakening the men?
Yeah.
Like if you're a man on a men's elimination day, I don't know what I'm saying, but like it, you know, like you'll go really hard because it doesn't. You want to save yourself, and it won't impact the women. So essentially,
like in this one, the women wanted to win.
Yeah.
However, it makes sense for the men to want to throw it to keep their female partner safe on the other team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the whole like wrench or the like spanner in the works, if you will, is that Casey doesn't have a ride or die, but her girlfriend is on the other team. So that also like complicates things a little bit because, and we'll talk about it. We can address this real quick. TJ is the man, the myth, the legend. We have a question from one of our viewers, who is TJ. TJ is the host of the challenge and
BMX legend, TJ Lavin.
Yes. He is phenomenal. And
he hates quitters.
Yeah, he hates quitters. He's definitely like softened up a bit over his hosting career.
Yes.
So you don't get the same TJ belittling that you used to, but I think he still hates quitters. So we are so it ends up that like Jordan finishes before Fessy significantly, but Devin ends up helping Fessy finish the challenge. They have like a 40-minute lead.
Yeah.
The next
what could go wrong?
Nothing. Definitely nothing.
Nothing.
The next one, they show a puzzle. So it's Anissa and Olivia that step up for their team, and it's Devin and Nani who step up for their team.
Yes.
So they just have to like run, get these like big.
Devin's like puzzle. I got this.
Hmm. And um, then it's kind of like a tangram, which
Yeah.
why do they all say tanagrams
They
because of
do say
CT?
tanagram. Oh, I don't know. Is that what CT calls them?
One of like my favorite lines CT's ever said, and like me and my best friend say it to each other just like randomly, but oh, it's a tanagram. It's not a nine piece. Like CT saw a tangram and was just like so pumped because he's like, I do these at home with my son CJ. And he, he just like in his confessionals, not a tanagram. So like Tosh and I will just like yell that at each other
That's so
sometimes.
funny. That's so funny.
But I'm pretty confident it's Tangram. Yeah, it is
Yeah, it
Tangram.
is, right? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, it's Tangram. They all, and I don't know if it's because of CT that they all add in that A, but even Devin calls it a tanagram. It's just tangrams, but it was similar to a tangram puzzle. And Olivia and Anissa worked
Crush
very
it.
well together
Yeah.
and finished the puzzle before Devin and Nani, where Nani didn't seem to be doing much and Devin seemed to be doing everything.
Hmm.
But I was definitely impressed with, I think, even more Olivia than Anissa in this. Not
Yeah.
just because I
Well,
kind of
because
expect
Anissa was
Anissa.
kind of just like, put that there. No, move that and put that there. Like, she was just directing Olivia, and Olivia was like doing
Yeah.
it, it felt like.
I think Olivia, well, Olivia also figured out the part at the end, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I could like Olivia.
Yeah.
I don't
It's a
know.
shame.
Okay, so yes,
That's a shame.
the next one, the picture was a light bulb. So um, Bananas and Tori volunteer for their team. Amber and Horacio volunteer for their team. And so this one was
Memory puzzle,
basically,
right?
yeah, a memory situation where pretend it's like a football field. And so Bananas and Tori, we'll just talk about it from their perspective. Bananas and Tori start at the 50-yard line. Bananas runs towards one end zone, Tori runs towards the other to give you, I think, like it's the
Mm-hmm.
easiest way of explaining it.
Mm-hmm.
And at each end zone, we'll call it, there is like a board and it has, I think, a 5x5 puzzle. And but I shouldn't say puzzle, but like a 5x5 picture. So each block has a different background color and shapes, but like the shapes could be chains that are linked, but like one of them can be linked going from like northwest to southeast, or
Yeah.
and then the other one might be like on the opposite diagonal, or the sword is pointing one way and the other. And
Yeah.
um, so there were a lot of details you need to be able to transfer over to your partner. And so you would look at them and then you would run back to the middle, transfer your information. They both have to run back to the end so that at that point, like Tori would be able to start putting her puzzle together. They come back and they keep transferring information, setting up the puzzle until one team finishes first. And I do want to say in this moment, I love Horacio being like, it is an honor to work with Amber. She's a champ.
Finally, someone is
She's good
giving
at
some respect
running.
to Amber.
That's
Finally.
like exactly what Chauncey tweeted. He was like, someone finally gets it.
Yeah. I mean, the way that they treat Amber is like, she is not a slouch.
Mm-mm.
Someone's finally giving her the respect that she deserves.
Yes. And
And they killed it.
Amber, yeah, they were so good, so fast. They loved working together. Just that was, I had like a very warm and fuzzy Amber episode.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it in a little bit, but I felt good for Amber in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going into the last like mini challenge within this big challenge, the like Amber's team, Mariah's team, has a pretty significant lead because
I think
they've
it's like
won
still
two of,
40 minutes or
yeah, it's
39
like
minutes
40,
or
45
something.
minutes, something like that. And the last one, it shows like a little like runner dude as the
Hmm.
picture. And so it has to be Casey and Chauncey. And then Mariah has to go for her team because she hasn't gone yet. And then someone gets to go a second time. And because it would either basically be Horacio or Jordan that would go again based off of like athleticism.
Yeah.
Who's the other guy on that team?
Devin.
Right. So, um, Horacio just ran a few miles doing the puzzle challenge. So
And
Jordan's like,
Jordan, to
I'll
be
go
fair, didn't do
again.
much that was very physical. Like
No,
physical
he
toll on drinking that stuff and physical toll on like pulling the thing, but he wasn't like running back and forth.
right.
He
He
wasn't
like
doing he wasn't doing anything endurance related.
his insides were fucked up, but his
Yeah.
outsides were fine.
Yes, yeah.
So Jordan goes, and this challenge was basically, we'll talk about it from like Jordan and Mariah's standpoint. They each start at the same place and they're attached to bungee cords. And we'll say maybe 30 feet away is it reminded me of like what you do box jumps onto, but instead of like the box, it's those stools. So like I don't know if I'm describing that well, but no, okay.
No, you probably are. I'm just like, sure.
It's just like basically a metal stool. So you have the foundational square at the bottom, like the base of it, and then it goes up, and there's also
Yeah,
like a
like a
square at the
bar.
top. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you can hold on either to the bottom of top of it, whatever. But both of your teammates have to hold on to this object at the end. However, when one person goes and holds on to it, it tightens up the bungee, making it difficult for the second person to
Mm-hmm.
get there. So it's a lot of strength and a lot of endurance and just definitely taxing. So in this, there definitely is some strategy. Both teams kind of do the same thing at first, where their woman runs up, holds on, and then the man tries to like claw their way up. And then it seems like Casey and Chauncey are the ones that figure out like, okay, we should both get as far up as we can
Mm-hmm.
together, which makes that initial climb for Casey a little difficult, but then Chauncey has like less work that he has to do.
Yeah.
So Chauncey keeps climbing, keeps climbing. He's like literally climbing up Casey,
Yeah, he's like pulling Casey's leg.
which like you had to do. I
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
that's what they had to do. And I think that's another reason that Jordan would be at a disadvantage because
Yeah.
he has to like wrap his arm around something to grab onto it and can't just hold
Yeah.
onto it with a hand. Um, but Casey and Chauncey figure it out.
Yep.
Not that Jordan and Mariah don't figure it out, but they can't execute because
Mariah can't hold on, basically,
right,
for as long as
Mariah
she
can't
needs
hold
to.
on long enough, and you can't have Jordan hold on first because Mariah doesn't have the strength to
Yeah.
get to that podium. So I think like almost no matter what, I Jordan was getting close at the end, but Mariah lost her
Let
grip.
go. Yeah.
This almost seemed like they had no chance based off of the personnel.
Yeah, I think anybody on Mariah's team would not have been able to do this. Like, it wouldn't have been better with maybe Horacio, but I feel like Jordan is just as strong as Horacio. But it's
If
still Mariah
anything,
would have let go. So it's like I don't think anything would have worked out.
it's like a in hindsight of Nani maybe not doing the puzzle and Nani doing that challenge. Like
Yeah,
that
or
might be your
like
only
or an
improvement.
Amber with someone heavier. So
Yeah. But Amber's definitely their best runner,
yeah,
where like
so she had to do
the
that.
one,
Yeah,
yeah, the one that they did that like she was built to do that, especially like it didn't involve numbers because she has, and as a former math teacher, I should know the fucking name, the amount of times I've looked it up, but basically number dyslexia.
mm.
Um, like dyscalculia, dysgraphia. It has like a math word in the middle of it. And
Oh,
it I have a special ed certification too, so the fact that I don't know the name of it is just like very embarrassing. But she said on her season that she won that she has that. So like I think that was like a perfect thing for her. I really think the only way
yeah,
that they stand a chance is like Mariah can't be in that one. She
yeah,
Mariah should have done the puzzle and Nani should have done the because I think also like Nani just has more grit than
yeah. I think so
Mariah.
too. Well, I feel like this whole episode, Mariah was like, I don't even really know what this show is. And now I know what it is. So I want to do well. It's like, what? Like, it just, what I was going to ask you before about Mariah and Bananas is what do you think their personal conversations are like? I can't imagine one. What do they talk about? What do they talk about? She is like a,
I
she's like a blank piece of paper. Like, she has no emotion. She has no, like, she has there's no difference in like if she's happy or sad or upset or if she loses or if she wins. It's just like there's no expression.
my guess is that she listens a lot,
Yeah,
and
that's what it
Banana
seems
does
like.
more of the talking. I can imagine that for someone like her, at least like within the challenge house, that he just does a lot of explaining
Well,
and
that's why
does a
I'm
lot of
like I could
talking.
understand if they were just a thing in the house, but they are like still a thing after the show, which is very confusing to me. Like, how are they still? It's very strange.
Yeah, she tweets a lot. So like she definitely has opinions, and I guess I would be interested at some point, maybe not. It already happened, but she was on Banana's podcast. I
Yeah, I'm
would
not listening to that.
I would potentially have it on the background of something,
Mm.
but um I don't know. Yeah, she's interesting because like she definitely cares and tries.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
but she is like I even
She's
in
very
like
one note.
interrogation
Like,
stuff,
there's yeah.
yeah, just like you're gonna do what you're gonna do. If you vote against me, you've shown your colors, and that's fine. I still love and respect all of you.
Yeah, it's like
I
she
know
just does it.
Fessy's my ride or die, but I didn't want to tie up the boat and fuck over a guy on my team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just the same tone. But what's funny is like it's not like a monotone boring.
No,
There's
it's
still
not.
some sort of like I'll listen to her talk and I want to listen to her, but she
It sounds like
isn't
she's
ever like
almost like
fuck this, fuck
always,
you, or oh my god, blah blah
yeah.
blah. It's just she's very like stoic in her level of I think she has like a level of care and enthusiasm, but that does not fluctuate.
No, no, not at all. Not at all.
Even when she like gets eliminated and she's like, I don't want to be soft. I don't want to cry right now.
I'm like, are,
And
do you even have that like mechanism in you? Did they
are there
program you
tears?
to cry? I don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't really think of that until you brought it up.
Her confessionals,
I'm not
everything
gonna.
is just the same exact
Yeah,
tone and level. It's like there's no difference. It's just very strange.
that's probably why Fessy gets along with her.
Yeah, because
Is
he can tell her
because
what to do and manipulate her, and she
he's
just she's
she's
not pushing
predictable.
back. Yeah, and she's not going to push
Yeah,
back on him. Even if she does, it's going to be in the same tone, so he's not going to even realize that she's annoyed.
yeah,
Because she's
yeah.
obviously
Fair.
getting annoyed with him. Like, she says it
Yeah,
in her confessionals. I realize that Fessy doesn't have my best interests at heart and he's not a good partner. But it's like, are you annoyed about it or are you just stating the fact that he's not a good partner? Because it's all in the same tone. Your delivery has not changed.
right.
I
Yeah,
came
I
on
haven't
this show
really
and
been
like, I
listening.
only came on it for Fessy, but now I want to win. Okay.
Yeah, she was
Well,
never on
thanks for
TV
showing
before
up
this,
like
right?
late. I guess not.
I don't think she was. I don't know where Fessy found her. Instagram DMs probably. But
Probably. Probably.
all right, so we end up having Jordan and Mariah time out because of like their accumulation of time, the cumulative time. There we go. Cumulative time is more than the other team.
Hmm.
Um, and it definitely just was interesting because the people who helped secure the win for Fessy's team were Casey and Chauncey, whose girlfriends are both on the other team.
Yeah.
So like both of them, at least one of their two girlfriends is going into the elimination that night.
Yes. Yeah. Because
But
there's only three
I
women.
just yeah, I just don't think that there was a possible way to throw it based off of who is
Mm-mm.
there.
No, in that last round, I don't think they could have. Maybe
No.
somehow prior to, maybe they could have, but I think whatever would have happened in that last round.
Fessy tried and Devin bailed him out. So
Yeah, but even on like the other team, because I know we talked about the combinations on Mariah's team, I don't think there's a combination of women and men on Fessie's team that wouldn't have won. Like
yeah,
I think no matter what, the women are just stronger. Like Tori would
yeah,
have held on, Anissa would have held on, Olivia would have held on. Like there's no one else that they could have
yeah.
put in there that would have been able to throw it to them.
I agree with you. I didn't even think of that, but I definitely agree with you. So they get back to the house, and this is a point that I wanted to bring up when we were talking
Mm,
about Amber earlier, because we say it almost every single week. We don't understand why so many of them just have this distaste for Amber. Why don't they like her? Why do they not trust her? And we've heard like because she's someone who says like you can trust me, I'm trustworthy, or like I'm a nice person. And I get the frustration with people like that because it's like show me, don't
yeah,
tell me that you're funny, like
yeah,
just let me figure this out for myself. And people have said that about her, but we still haven't even seen that. She hasn't done anything shady. She continues to try and support these big brother people and these vets who keep pushing her out, pushing her to the side,
hmm,
betraying her. And it's just been like frustrating. And I don't know if jealousy is a thing with it because she won in her rookie season. And that makes her an easy target, like, oh, let's get out a champ or whatever. But she's never had anybody in the house that, besides Jarrell,
yep,
who like genuinely has her back. She
yeah,
thinks people do, and then they fuck her over
yeah. Darrell is truly the only
continuously.
one.
Yeah. And in this moment after the challenge, when they get back to the house, um, Chauncey is just like visibly upset because
Yeah,
he knows
poor
by
Chauncey.
him and Casey succeeding in their part of the challenge, that's more or less what has caused Amber to potentially have to go down into
Yeah,
elimination. And just like seeing someone care about Amber,
yeah,
like I'm so happy for her because
me
it seems
too.
so sincere. It doesn't seem put on for TV. Like you can tell that he is so upset that what he's done can potentially be a reason why she goes home that night.
Yeah. No, it was not. I mean, I really, really like their relationship a lot. I think Chauncey seems like a really good dude. I think their relationship is great. I just really like them both together. And I assume I would like Chauncey separately unless he like just became a total piece of shit when Amber's not around, which I very highly doubt.
Yeah. And even Amber's approach to him, because I think it could be very easy to be
To be
like,
like,
yeah,
fuck.
I want to
Yeah.
prove these people wrong. Like, stop giving them the opportunity to send me
Yeah.
home or to put me in. Like, why didn't you? Like, I don't think
Yeah.
that's in Amber's nature anyway, but for her to be like, listen, like, you have a game too, and I want you to succeed. And like,
Yeah.
sure, if I can't be here for it, okay. But like, I'm, I don't want you to compromise you for me. And if we, and it's just like, you guys really are ride or dies.
Yeah. Probably the only true ride or dies in this season.
um,
Maybe Bananas
I
and
think
Nani.
I think no, I would say that Casey and her brother are probably more than
I feel like we didn't see anything between Casey and her brother other than like, that's my little brother. That's my brother. That's my brother. It's like, okay, we fucking know. Like, is that all? Like, that's it? There's nothing else? No more depth there? She's more ride or die with Fessy than she is with Kenny and
and
Nani.
she's definitely yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. Um yeah, I would say that besides I don't know, maybe if we got to see more of Kenny. It definitely
Mm,
seems like Kenny's ride or die for Casey, but I think that like
because he doesn't
he
know anyone else.
also well no, I mean more just kind of like even in the
Life?
interview they showed of him, like yeah, like he's been the little brother. He's kind of always been like I don't know, as a woman who plays football, like you definitely are gonna stand out growing up and
Yeah.
like being amongst the men and then being on Big Brother and winning
Yeah.
Big Brother, like he's always had to take like the backseat like cheerleader role. And
Yeah.
so it doesn't but he never, at least in the interviews, it never came across like oh, I'm
Like
finally
he was
getting my chance to be
resentful.
on
Yeah.
TV. Yeah, like it's like, oh, I get to like join her world for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't, I mean, like we just didn't get to
Truly a
see a
minute
lot of
because there's
them.
no way that Kenny's getting back on the show. There's just no
Right.
way.
I mean, TJ's like, I'm glad he's gone, so now that I can say this.
Yeah. Even though
Like
TJ's like the
you,
nicest
yeah,
guy I've
you're
ever
so,
met.
yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we didn't get to see a lot of them interacting because there was like there was their whole shady thing too where they had to leave because of COVID because Casey was patient zero for every
Once
single
again,
COVID in this world.
yeah. Once again, she got kicked off of Big Brother All Stars for this. You would think she would be a little more careful.
Mm-hmm. So we didn't see them for like the first 4 episodes because of that anyway. And then yeah, but definitely Amber and Chauncey are probably the strongest ride or dies of the season. And I want to bring up for the interrogation that this was the first interrogation that I didn't like want Nani off my screen immediately. I
I
felt
don't
like
even remember what she said.
I felt like she approached it from a much more respectful way of like, listen, there's 3 of us. I'm ready to go down there. I'm ready to come back. And she didn't say in a way of like, if you put me down there, I'm coming for you. She was just like, I'm here to win this. And I just, it felt like the first time she was in there and she wasn't trying to be manipulative.
Yeah. Well, because there's only 3. I mean, chances are she's going in. The probability is not in her favor.
Right. So I just like that to me, it almost set her up better to be in there versus like, oh, I tried this scare tactic on whoever and it didn't work. Like, I don't know. That didn't annoy me. I thought her and Amber brought up decent points of like, okay, how many of you in your rookie season got this far without having to go to an elimination? Okay, that's right. Like, why is Mariah still sitting pretty? So,
yeah,
it made sense.
Yeah.
But we go to the elimination. Mariah ends up being the direct vote, and it comes down to Amber and Nani having to pull from 2 daggers. Amber goes first, to which Anissa just fucking clowns on Amber.
This was slightly annoying.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I was like, just pull the fucking dagger. If I were Nani, I'd be like, oh my God, and just like pulled one.
Yeah, just go. It doesn't matter.
Just go. It doesn't matter. There's only 2 of them. Just go.
Nani. And Amber ends up pulling the safe dagger, so Nani has to go in. And for the elimination, I really liked this elimination.
Yeah, I like this elimination too.
So what happened was, I'll talk about it from Nani's perspective. Nani is hooked in to kind of like a harness, and as Nani goes forward, it causes this this like thing in front of her has a sliding panel, and as she pulls herself forward, it'll slide the panel up, and there is a word there that needs to be unscrambled, and the words get progressively harder. So there's like six words they have to unscramble, but you get the first word, unscramble it, get the second word, unscramble it, and so on. And then once you finish, there's like a buzzer you have to hit, and if you are the first to unscramble your 6 words, you win. So Mariah is doing the same thing on the other side, and this
Before
was a close
talk
race.
about this,
yes,
why was TJ's wife there?
Oh yeah. She showed up, so that made me wonder. Like,
this was so weird.
On site a lot.
I don't know. Maybe, or maybe they just had her
like,
come in because like ride or die. I don't know. I was gonna say yes immediately, but now I'm actually not sure.
Lavin. Oh, he's the stepfather and adopted
stepfather
father of Raquel. So Roxanne's daughter from a previous relationship.
This was just it was weird to me. I was like, what the fuck is TJ's wife doing here? And then she's like, all right, see ya. I was like, what? Why is she here? What did this add? What do we need this for?
I kind of liked it only for like when he was whispering like commentary to her.
Yeah, but he was also wrong. He was like saying that Mariah's strategy is a terrible strategy, and she would have won. Well, it wasn't a terrible strategy. And then Nani took her strat. Didn't Nani like switch it up?
I don't think so. Or I
thought she did towards the end because she couldn't like hold the thing up for as long to memorize it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
TJ
there is some
wasn't that bad of a
controversy with
strategy.
this. So
Okay.
we mentioned, um, I think, were we talking about it yesterday? About how with this elimination, it was weird that nobody was helping.
Yes, we did.
So we can, um, I guess what happened was they were told to not help, or I don't think that they were told at first to not help because you couldn't see, you could only see like parts of things based off where you were
Mm-hmm.
standing. But if you remember, Nani was stuck at devotion.
Mm-hmm.
We never see Nani actually figure out
No, we don't.
devotion.
We don't.
And here's why. Casey sees Mariah figure out
Oh.
devotion. She tells, um, so Casey tells Nani that that word is devotion.
Oh,
We
that's
don't
fucked
see
up.
it. At this point, that's when producers are like, don't help. Because I think also Mariah said Casey helped Nani. So Jordan was like, that's fucked up. Because I think no one had helped each other up until that point. And so Jordan then helped Mariah with something.
Mm. Good for Jordan.
And at that point, they were like, shut the fuck up. Stop helping each other.
Yeah, that's not that I don't think is fair.
Yeah.
Like whatever. This is why the challenge is a little bit of a janky TV show because like that stuff like that shouldn't fly. They should say at the beginning like no helping on this elimination. They shouldn't wait until she gets the answer from Casey and then Jordan starts helping. That's so dumb.
I also just think that if the challenge cared, there's easy ways to prevent this. Like, for example,
Yes.
put like, I don't want to say a weighted blanket, but I don't have a better way of describing what I'm thinking of. Like a weighted blanket that hangs down from the top of where they're unscrambling the words. So you have to like hold that up while you're unscrambling. So the people up top can't
Yeah,
see it.
can't
You're the
see.
only ones who can
Yeah.
see the letters.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that difficult to
Or
figure
like
it out.
even that, like just put like a little screen or like a little like panel in between them
Or,
and the so at least like we could see it, but then like whoever's on
yeah.
the rafters can't see it. Like just put like a like just a little shade or like a little panel to
Well,
block
they
it
did
from the
it
people.
last season in the puzzle challenge I've told you about when Devin had to go against Emmanuel, like right
Yeah.
before the final. All three puzzles, like, so how do I describe this? There was like a podium for a puzzle, and then 15 feet after that, another one and another one. So the people doing the puzzles were facing the like
Yeah.
the other castmates, so they couldn't see the puzzles because of how it was angled. So it was hard to help them. Um, which they could have done that. Put the scrambled letters
Oh, yeah, exactly. Just turn it.
facing, yeah,
Yeah.
like make it in a way where,
They can't see what they're doing.
yeah, there's got to be something. So I think from what I read, Casey told Nani devotion. And Jordan, I don't know how Jordan helped out Mariah, um, but Jordan somehow helped Mariah, and then that's when they like shut it down. But even
Mm-hmm.
then, Casey was like, she's on this word, like she's on her whatever
Yeah.
word.
Just like
So
shut up, Casey.
yeah,
Ugh.
and it ends up being really close. So Nani yells check first, and TJ is like, hit your buzzer. And then they
It felt
both hit
like
the
he was
buzzer.
only telling Nani to hit the buzzer too, by the way. I don't know if you got
You
that
think
vibe,
so?
but it seemed like Matt and I were watching it and it felt like he like was looking at Nani and was like hit the buzzer. Like it didn't seem like he was like you guys got to hit the buzzer. It seemed like it was like specifically targeted to Nani to hit the buzzer. At least that's the vibe that
Uh,
it gave off.
I didn't pick up on that, but I also like don't not believe it.
That's what it seemed like to me, but I'm sure we're never going to get
Yeah.
confirmation of that.
So it seems like Mariah hits her buzzer first, but Mariah had spelled devotion wrong. She accidentally had the O and I in the
Yeah.
TION flipped. So then Nani ended up winning.
Yeah.
And like good for Nani, I guess. The thing is like I guess out of Mariah and Nani, I want to have Nani here more than Mariah. I just feel like she adds a little bit more than Mariah does. Um, Also, just because I think it'd be interesting to see like how Fessy reacts to whatever the culmination of this ride or die twist is, because
Yeah.
he's been such like a dick about it, where
Yeah.
Bananas has actually been incredibly supportive of Nani throughout all of it. Um, so I'm not like I wasn't rooting for Nani. I would have been okay with a Mariah win, but I'm not mad that Nani won either.
I think I was rooting more for Mariah, and out of the two men, part like the Bananas and Fessy, I think I would rather see Bananas in the house alone because I think he's like been keeping it together for Nani, and I want to see him just be
Mm-hmm.
messy. Like if he's gonna be on the show, like at least be messy. He's giving me nothing. I'm not a Bananas fan, so like at least like cause some kind of drama or something. Even though I guess he did earlier in the season with that, what was that girl's name? Courtney, the German girl. Was it Courtney?
Colleen.
Colleen, but that we didn't get to see. But I just like, I don't know. Maybe with Nani out of the house, he could loosen up a little more and just actually be
Yeah,
entertaining.
that's true. I didn't think of that. Yeah, because it's not like
Because
Fessy's
Fessy's
gonna
never
change
entertaining.
without
Yeah, he's
Mariah.
just never
Yeah,
entertaining.
no, it's
He's
without
mentally
point.
left Mariah a long time ago, Fessy.
Yes, yes. So Mariah's gone. She does find out from TJ that she's still in the game as long as
And
Fessy
she's
is.
like, wow,
So right,
cool.
yeah. I don't want to be soft.
Awesome.
I don't want to cry. Um,
Oh, I thought I was just
I
going
have a
home and I was
question.
really sad, but now I'm happy. Can't you tell by the change in my voice? What's your
What?
question?
Okay, Mariah. So my question is, what do you think is going to happen with these people who are in they're in the die part of the ride or die house, like they're dead.
Yeah.
Their partner's still riding. So, what do you think is going to happen? How are they going
I
to handle this?
I have no idea. Is it going to be like a purge
Because,
situation or like do they have to face each other in an elimination to get back into the game and then if they lose the elimination does their partner have to leave? Like I don't know what to expect.
yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because the
But then it
other
would be
thing
like
is
right now it would be Mariah
unfair
versus
and
Kenny.
Kenny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm wondering is like, so Mariah's in there, Kenny's in there. Let's say two more people get sent
Mhm.
in. So there's four, right? Um, we'll just name names for the sake of it. Let's say like Olivia gets sent there next. And I don't know if this happens. This is not a
Yeah,
spoiler.
no, I
I'm
don't
just
know.
and
Mhm.
then like a guy. So let's say Chauncey, right?
Mhm.
So the four pairs would be Kenny Casey, Fessy Mariah, Amber Chauncey, Olivia Horacio. And then it's like, oh look, your ride or dies have been like slowly dying. They're not dead yet. Like
Yeah. They're
they're
just bleeding out, but there's still a chance
yeah.
to save them.
And so now what happens is your partners come down and the four of you have to compete. If you don't finish in first, you're last. The other three teams go home. Do you
That's what
think
I
something
was
like that happens?
Yeah, I could see them doing like some kind of like a purge challenge with their partners and having
Yeah.
to bring their partners into it. And then whoever wins that challenge gets back in the game or stays in the game in the case that you're not the person who's eliminated. And then the rest just go. And then it's probably like one or two challenges left until the final. That's what I would, something like that is what I would assume.
I want more than anything in this challenge world, not the
Yes.
real world, but and not the TV show, but the my actual human life world. Oh, I have a real world thing for you. That uh I want it to be like that, and I want Fessy and Mariah to lose that, and I want
Me
Fessy
too.
to have to go out because of it. It would just be glorious,
Yeah. And I want it to be
glorious.
something where you really have to rely on your partner or like know something about your partner or something that has to do with your partner. So it can just be like, oh, you disregarded your partner this whole time and now it shot you in the foot.
Yeah, yeah. I hope so. I really hope so.
I hope so too. We'll see.
Um,
It's got to be soon
I
though,
don't.
because there's only two
Yeah,
women left on the other team and
yeah.
three
It's just
guys. So it's like the
Amber
next
and
challenge, they're
Nelly.
all going to have to like keep rotating or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. The preview for next week didn't give a lot. I purposefully,
I don't remember
for
if I
both
watched it.
episodes, I did because both episodes that I was watching, the MTV app just like shut down before the
Oh,
preview. So for the first one, I'm like, it doesn't matter because I'm about to watch next week's episode
yeah.
right now, so I don't need the preview. But then I went on my computer to MTV.com just to see next week's
Oh,
preview, and there was nothing
nothing.
worthwhile. Absolutely nothing. It was a whole ass waste of time because there was ads I had to wait through, and when you watch
Oh,
on the browser, you know how there's certain sites where like you can't leave the tab that you're on that's running the
yeah. Otherwise,
ads,
it
or
like
the
mutes
ad
it or
will
pauses it
freeze.
or yeah.
Yeah. So I had to sit
Rude.
there and like wait for 2.5 minutes to see like a 20-second preview that had nothing worthwhile.
Yeah.
But yeah, there has to change has to be coming soon. If not this
Yeah.
upcoming week, likely the next week would be my guess.
Yeah. I think so too. It also feels like, and this is always the case with the challenge, that the season has been on forever. Like, do you remember the first episode where Johnny and Raven threw in Kayla and her husband? Do you even
Yeah.
remember Kayla and her husband even being on this season? Like, it's crazy.
I don't feel like this season has been going on for as long as last season felt, and I like definitely, I mean, given I quit on last season, which is part of it, but
Yeah.
even the season before that was really long. This
Yes,
one's
the season before that
moving
was
a little
obscenely
bit
long.
faster for me. I just really don't think we need more than 14 episodes in a season of the challenge.
No, we
14
don't.
is perfect. And I'm pretty sure this was episode 13.
Yeah, so we have to have at least, I mean, the final is definitely going to be 2 episodes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe one. They've been doing it in one.
Is this show two
Maybe, I
hours?
don't know.
It's 2 hours, right?
No, it's an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Okay, so maybe they could fit it into one.
Yeah.
I think they'll at least
Hopefully it's
start it
only
at like
one.
the end of an episode. Maybe it won't be too full.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, hopefully we're
all
there
right.
soon because
Well,
I'm tired of this. No, I mean,
I
like, I'm
don't
having
mind
fun. I'm
it.
having fun on the podcast. Like, I'm still watching it every week. But especially with Nelly
Mhm.
gone, I feel like he's like the only one that brought any comedic relief whatsoever. And the rest of the show, like every other person on the show is so boring.
Devin makes me laugh. And then I also laugh sometimes with Jordan.
Jordan made me laugh. Like, Jordan makes me laugh when he's antagonizing people.
Hmm.
Sometimes, not all the time, because he's been very offensive and
Yeah.
problematic in the past. When he's antagonistic, that did not make me laugh. But like now that he's calmed down a little bit and he's being antagonistic, like some of the things I find him to be doing are funny. But like he's not really like openly making me like Nelly like
No.
in his confessionals is funny. Like I just,
Hmm. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I like once I sit down and watch it, I'm like when I'm watching, I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying this. Um, I I am giving it some of my attention. I won't lie. I was doing a homework assignment
yeah.
during this yesterday, but um, I don't hate the season. I had really low
Yeah,
expectations, and
me
it's
too.
definitely exceeding those expectations.
Me too. I mean, last season is the first season where I was like, I am not watching this. Like, I can't. But this season, I'm sticking with it. It's good. I'm not disliking it. I just feel like it's leaning way too into the challenge of it all and not at
Hmm.
all into like the fun antics in the house or like the social dynamics or the drama. And that's really what's entertaining about this show. Like, it's not
Yeah,
really the challenges.
yeah,
And they should know that. Like, they should know that.
yeah. I agree with you. I definitely agree. All right, before we go,
Hmm.
this is slightly related, but did you see that what Tokyo posted on Instagram
I
somewhat
did.
recently?
About the
The
photo?
the group shot, yeah, and how
Yes,
Kelly is photoshopped into it, and they
I
kept
did
the
see it.
space. I I'm hoping he keeps talking. I guess the NDA is up, so
Let's
which
get
also
him on the
means we might need to
podcast.
reach out to our friend. Just
I
saying.
think
So
she
anyway.
I think she gave us everything that she was going
Yeah.
to. And rightfully so. She gave
But
us a lot. So, like, rightfully
I
so.
would love to have her and Tokyo on a podcast, or her and Jamie on a podcast together. Anyway, we're talking about Real World New Orleans. If you haven't
Yeah.
picked up on it, that's like our
Yes.
North Star. So, but okay, well, we're gonna talk about the challenge more next week. But until then, Katie, what are you doing on the internet?
Well, on the internet, you can find me on Twitter at RealSlimKatie. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an underscore at the end. You can also check both Kari and I out, as well as Javier, talking about all things Traders US, which is going to be really exciting. We're going to kick off that coverage this week with a draft and just like kind of a cast overview. And then we'll figure out how we're going to cover this show that has every episode dropping in one day. So I'm really excited for that. There's going to be some really exciting pressure cooker coverage. I started watching it yesterday on Netflix. It's basically, if you don't know what it is, it's a cooking show where all of the chefs judge each other's food. And like each challenge, they have like a different way of bringing in one of the judges, or like they rank and stack rank and stuff, kind of like the circle. It's been fun, but they all live in a house together, which is really fun. So it's kind of like Big Brother meets Top Chef a little bit. And it's been a good time. I watched the first 3 episodes last night. It's very entertaining. And I'm probably going to go pick it up after this.
Oh,
So
nice.
definitely, I think, so there's going to be some coverage on some podcasts of that. I will be involved in it in some capacity. I just don't know what that capacity is yet. We're still working through it, but that'll be fun. And then, of course, Housewives released our Jentencing episode yesterday, talking all things Jen Shaw. So check that out. Plus, we talked about Real Housewives of Miami, Salt Lake City, and Potomac. And then there's some Big Brother stuff coming up too. So all exciting stuff.
Nice. Yeah, we got things going over
Yeah.
here. So
Yeah.
I'm KGD26. I'm currently private on Twitter, so if you want to follow me, request it. And if I like let it sit there, send me a message and say I listened to you on Silent Podcast, and I'll allow it in. Otherwise, just wait for me to become public again. Either I do or don't get this job I'm applying for.
You'll get
Katie's
it.
talked about all the podcasts I'm doing, and I'm apologizing right now for the lack of circle coverage, but something's got to take a back seat. And so I think we might do like an end of season recap, try to get on a couple of the last season contestants that I talked
Yeah,
to,
that'll be fun.
and maybe we can get some people on. But otherwise, I'm here for TJ Hates Quitters. I've got Real Housewives of Katie, and then we're going to be covering Traders coming up soon, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah,
So
that'll be really fun.
you can catch all of our stuff on YouTube, on Twitch, or, well, I shouldn't say or. So YouTube and Twitch, search for us, Silent Podcast. And then we're on Twitter at silent_podcast. Our live streams also get streamed there as well. Or you can listen to us in podcast form. That's on Apple, Spotify, wherever else you listen to podcasts. And that's where you can give us 5 stars. If this was a 5-star episode, tell us, rate us,
Yeah, let us
subscribe,
know.
do all the things that help us grow and become popular. Because really, I just want enough internet clout to be on an episode of normal gossip. That's it. And so help me get there. That's 2023. I want to be on normal gossip.
It's a good
So
goal.
listen, I think I could do it. I love that podcast. You listen to it?
I have not listened to it yet. You also sound a little bit like a robot, but I think you're coming back.
Okay, my Wi-Fi thing is up there for the first time. My
I haven't listened
connection
to it
is
yet, but I
unstable.
do subscribe to it. So there will be a day where I just am like, all right, time to dive in.
I will say, so I've had friends who have listened like from the newest episode to like the first episode, and as they get to like the older episodes, they're like, it's like.
Hmm.
So I would recommend starting from episode 1
And then,
and
okay,
then going forward, because they just get progressively better at their
okay,
skill.
great.
And I actually went and saw. Do you know who Josh Gondelman is? He's a
Mm-mm.
comedian. He is like the lead writer for Jesus and Mero before
Oh,
they
okay.
like separated. I've been a fan of his for like legitimately a decade, and I went to his comedy show between Christmas and New Year, and I went with my friend Tosh, who I mentioned before, who I got her into normal gossip. And I was like, I know you've like heard of him before. And then during the middle of the show, I'm like, he was on the episode of Normal Gossip where the woman faked running a marathon. And she was like, oh my God, now I know who this
Okay, well
is.
now my interests are piqued. If there's an episode about a woman who
Yes,
faked running a marathon, all right, I'm in.
it's so good. It's so good. It's so easy to listen to. It's so good. Um, I think my favorite season one, episode 8, girls going on the trip. But
Okay,
that's all you need to know. 5 girls going on a trip. It is wild.
okay,
Uh, Overall, great podcast. So yeah, I just want to get enough internet clout where I can be on there. Oh, so I met him, right? And I was like, yeah, I told my friend how you were on this episode of Normal Gossip. And he's like, oh, that's so weird. Right before the show was starting, I was texting Kelsey. And that's like the host of it. And so
yeah.
he's like talking to me like I'm on a first name basis with the host. And it's like,
Oh, that's
listen,
funny.
I just want to be famous enough to be on an episode of that. Like, please, if you have any hookup. And he's like, I'll remember this.
Perfect. All right, it's a
So
good goal.
I got it is. I got to tweet him once I'm public again. Be like, help me out. So anyway, if you don't listen to Normal Gossip, it's not a silent podcast, but it is phenomenal. That's really all I have to say today.
All right. I don't think I have anything else either.
Okay, so we will catch you guys next week with coverage of this week's episode. But if you want to hear us sooner, tune in Tuesday night when we draft people
Tune
for
in. It's
this
going to be
upcoming
fun. If
season
you don't know what the
of
Traders is, we'll
Traders.
explain everything you need to know. We'll go over the cast. You could jump right in. It'll be really fun. There's great reality TV personalities on there. Also, some not so great ones like Ari Lyondike, The Bachelor. Why? I don't know, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to like hate him. So it'll
Yeah,
be fun. It'll be fun.
absolutely. But until then, thanks for listening, and we will catch you later. Bye.